Did you know some people genuinely believe dragons were real? Like dinosaurs that went extinct before humans could slap a name on them? Not fire-breathing lizards hoarding gold in caves. We're talking flying reptiles, seen in stories across every corner of the planet, from medieval Europe to ancient China to Aztec temples. That many cultures making up the same creature? Either mass hallucination or they were onto something. Let's dive into the scorching mystery of dragons, where they came from, what they meant, and why they still haunt our imaginations and news headlines today. Dragons are not a one-country myth. They're a global obsession. In China, dragons were divine, powerful, and wise. They ruled the skies and the rivers. They weren't monsters. They were guardians. The Chinese dragon, or long, has no wings, a lion's mane, and the body of a snake. In Europe, dragons were winged nightmares. Think smoke, fangs, fire, and a fondness for kidnapping princesses. Their origin? Likely a mashup of fossil discoveries, hello, dinosaur bones, and ancient tales of large serpents. In India, the Vedic texts mention the dragon Vritra, a snake-like being who blocked the rivers until the storm god Indra blasted him to pieces. In Mesoamerica, you had Quetzalcoatl, a feathered serpent god who brought knowledge and fire. In Persia, dragons were demons, often killed by heroes like Faradin. So, are dragons real, or did every continent coincidentally invent the same monster? Either way, they didn't just haunt our myths, they shaped our calendars. Because for some cultures, dragons weren't just feared, they were celebrated. In China, dragons are so central to culture that they have an entire event, the Dragon Boat Festival, Duanwu. This holiday involves racing ornately carved boats shaped like dragons. Meanwhile, medieval Europe wasn't hosting dragon parades. They were hiring knights to stab them. Case in point, St. George's Day, April 23rd, celebrating the legendary dragon slayer himself. It's less about worship, more about reminding dragons who's boss. But one thing's clear, humans are obsessed with dragons because they can be terrifying or divine, heroes or villains, majestic sky gods or oversized reptiles with anger issues. And while they may be extinct or imaginary, dragons still have a few tricks up their scaly sleeves. Like these. Number 5. Dragons don't have a set blueprint. Some have wings, some don't. Some slither like snakes. Others stomp like dinosaurs. They've been drawn with antlers, feathers, lion manes, even extra heads. Basically, nature's ultimate freestyle. They're the Mr. Potato Head of mythology. Just mix, match, and terrorize. Number 4. Dragons were probably the original cautionary tale. Before stranger danger, there was, don't go into the mountains, there are dragons. Parents used dragons to scare kids into staying close to the village. Number 3. Dragons are basically walking metaphors. In Europe, they represented evil, temptation, and greed. In the East, they were balance, water, wisdom, and the emperor's symbol. Same creature. Total personality split. Number 2, their names are everywhere. Draco in Latin, Dragon in Spanish, Ryu in Japanese, Zmaj in Slavic countries. Even today, military weapons, rocket systems, and fighter jets are named after dragons. Why? Because no one's naming a missile kitten. Dragons sound lethal. Number 1. They're still scary because they blend the known and unknown. Lions are scary. Snakes are scary. Birds of prey, terrifying. A dragon is all of that, combined. They tap into a primal fear, something smarter than us, stronger than us, and just as mythical as our confidence. Okay, time for the juicy part. Are people still seeing dragons? No, not Smaug, not Toothless, nor the iconic trio Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. I'm talking about real-life sightings. Wait, what? In 2001, multiple hikers in the Himalayas reported seeing a giant winged creature soaring above a snow peak. But the locals? They've been calling it the sky serpent for centuries. In Wales, a 1999 police report described a massive flying lizard spotted by a farmer. Authorities chalked it up to a large bird because, of course, they did. In Papua New Guinea, villagers have long told stories of the ropen, a massive glowing creature that flies at night, possibly mistaken pterosaurs or dragons. On Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube, you'll find dozens of shaky camera videos showing massive shadows flying past mountains. Debunked? Maybe, but tell that to the guy screaming in the background. And yes, some paleontologists argue that fossilized remains of flying reptiles like Quetzalcoatlus might have sparked dragon myths. Except those were real and terrifying, with a wingspan of 40 feet? That's basically a dragon without fire. Okay, let's say dragons were real, like Jurassic Park real. Would we survive, or would humans be charbroiled toast by lunchtime? Let's run the numbers.
Size matters.
A dragon, depending on which myth you're pulling from, is anywhere from the size of a bear to a Boeing 747. Even a medium dragon would make your average T-Rex look like a stressed-out chicken. If they fly, worse. Air superiority wins wars. Ask any military general or pigeon.
Fire-breathing powers.
Yes, scientifically, breathing actual fire is a long shot. But some animals today, like the bombardier beetle, do shoot boiling chemicals out of their body. So, if a dragon had, say, methane chambers in its gut and a spark-producing jaw mechanism, toasted village. And unlike flamethrowers, dragons never run out of fuel. They hunt. They eat. They recharge.
Can humans beat dragons?
With swords? Impossible. With guns? Maybe, if you're extremely lucky and the dragon is extremely bored. Tanks have better chance. But if a dragon is flying, armored vehicles become sitting ducks. Our best bet? Surface-to-air missiles, heat-seeking tech, and drone swarms. But is our government fast enough to deploy that before we become barbecue?
Let's weigh speed and agility.
Humans? Max sprint speed around 20 mep if you're an Olympic-level cheetah impersonator. Dragons? Flight speed's often clocked in at as fast as plot needs them to be, but assume hawk-level agility with a jet engine's thrust. You can't outrun one. You can't hide from one. You might outsmart one, but only once maybe? Feeling clever? Let's talk about the real contest.
Brains versus brawn.
Here's humanity's tiny, desperate glimmer of hope. Dragons are often shown as intelligent, but so are we. We build traps, launch tech, use teamwork. A coordinated global effort with military-grade hardware, strategic planning, and maybe a few sacrificial goats as bait, we might take one down. But even then, you're looking at losses. Cities flattened, forests torched. This wouldn't be a hero slays dragon moment. It'd be humanity versus nature, and nature just showed up with wings, claws, and a bad attitude. So, could we win? In theory, yes. But in practice, only if the dragon gets bored halfway through and decides to nap. So here's the deal. Dragons may not be real the way bears are, but they're real enough to haunt myths, power legends, and show up on cave walls and shaky late-night footage. Maybe they were never real. Or maybe they were. And that's exactly why we can't stop imagining them. Because some creatures never die. Not in the stories, not in us.